The Whispering Wall. Okay, so I gotta tell you guys about the freakiest thing that's ever happened to me. I ain't no writer or nothing, but I gotta get this off my chest. It all started a couple months back when my buddy Jake and I decided to go exploring in this abandoned asylum just outside of town. We'd heard all the stories about the place being haunted and shit, but you know how it is when you're a dumb teenager. That just makes you want to go there even more. We thought it'd be a laugh, maybe get a couple scary pics for Instagram or whatever. Man, were we wrong. The place was creepy as hell from the minute we stepped through the rusty gate. Overgrown bushes, shattered windows, graffiti everywhere. But we'd come this far, so we pushed on inside. The entrance hall was huge, with a busted-up reception desk and some old wheelchairs lying around. Jake called out, "Hello," and his voice just echoed forever. That's when we heard it, like a faint whispering sound coming from one of the hallways. We both froze for a second, but then Jake grinned at me. "You heard that, bro? This is gonna be fun." Against my better judgment, we headed towards the sound. Whispering got louder as we got closer until we came to this long corridor with a caved-in roof at the end. Light was coming in through the holes, and I could see writing covering the walls. As we got closer, I realized it was just the same phrase over and over. Get out now." That's when the whispering started up again, louder and angrier. We must have looked like a couple of idiot kids because we turned and booked it straight out of there. I've never run so fast in my life, not looking back until we were out the gate and down the road. I try to forget about that place, but I'll never get those whispers out of my head. Sometimes I still hear them, late at night when the house is quiet. My parents think I'm going crazy, but I know what I heard. Whatever is in that asylum ain't human, and it wants us to stay away. We never did find out what caused that weird writing on the walls, or where those whispers came from. Maybe it's better off not knowing. But I'm telling you, if you know what's good for you, stay as far away from that whispering wall as you possibly can. Here's part 2 of the Whispering Wall story, continuing the first-person perspective. I thought I was done with that creepy-ass asylum after what happened. I made Jake swear never to go back, and for a while we didn't. But you know how it is. After a couple months, the scared feelings started to fade, and we got curious again. Maybe we didn't see everything last time? Maybe there was a rational explanation? Against my better judgment, I let Jake talk me into going back. I promised myself I'd be smarter this time. No wandering off towards weird noises, and we'd leave at the first sign of anything too freaky. But as soon as we stepped through that gate again, I had a bad feeling. The place seemed, I dunno, darker somehow, like the shadows had grown thicker. We crept inside and made our way to that same hallway with the caved-in roof. The whispering was already audible as we got closer. I shone my flashlight down the hall and, oh God, the writing was everywhere, scrawled over every inch of wall in that ragged handwriting. But the words were different now. You shouldn't have come back. You were warned. My heart was pounding in my ears as that whispering grew louder and louder. It sounded pissed, like a furious crowd was gathering around us. Jake was frozen, his face drained of color. I tugged his arm and shouted, "Let's get the hell out of here, man." But he stayed stuck, couldn't tear his eyes from the wall. Then the whispers changed, shifted into something worse. They started saying our names. My full name, Jake's name, garbled, but I could make it out. Over and over and over. That's when I just grabbed Jake and hauled ass, pulling him behind me. He snapped out of it and we ran for the exit, whispering voices echoing all around us the whole way. I swear, I could feel something dark and twisted chasing us out. Like whatever made those whispers was right on our heels until we finally burst outside. We didn't stop running till we made it back home, slamming the door behind us. I haven't been able to sleep right since then. Those whispering voices saying my name. They plague my dreams and I'll wake up in a cold sweat, heart racing. Jake won't even talk about it. He's like traumatized or something. I don't know what's going on at that asylum. Part of me doesn't want to find out. But another part, a sicker part of me, it's tempted to go back one more time, to face those whispers and figure out the truth, no matter how terrifying it is. I know I probably shouldn't, but I got a feeling the whispers ain't done with me yet. I'll let you know if I work up the courage to go back. Wish me luck. I got a nasty suspicion I'm gonna need it. Here's part 3 of the Whispering Wall scary story. Alright, Against my better judgment, I went back to that asylum last night. After the last two experiences, you'd think I'd have learned my lesson. But those damn whispers got inside my head, and I couldn't shake this feeling that I had to go back one more time. Figure out what's really going on in that place once and for all. This time I went alone, though. Didn't tell Jake or anyone else. I knew they'd try to talk me out of it. I just waited until it was late, like 3 a.m., grabbed a powerful flashlight and a backpack of supplies, and headed out. The walk to the asylum felt longer than usual in the dead of night. Every bump or crack of a twig made me jump. By the time I climbed the rusty gate and dropped down into the overgrown grounds, I was already regretting this. The place seemed darker somehow, more unwelcoming than ever before. But I'd come this far, so I headed inside, making my way back to that same hallway. The whispering started as soon as I got close. Just a faint murmuring at first, then growing louder and more insistent. I shone the flashlight on the walls and, oh man, I threw up right there. The writing was made of blood. Thick, dried streaks of it spelling out those horrible words. You're going to regret this. Over and over again. The whispering grew to a roaring sound, like an angry crowd was surrounding me. My name started getting repeated in the chaos of noise. I started running, trying to get away, protect my ears, but it felt like the voices were inside my head. I made it out of the hallway into some kind of old rec room, and that's when I saw him, or it, this thing, standing in the middle of the room. Rotted, twisted corpse-looking creature with unseeing eyes and sharp teeth, just standing there grinning at me. And it spoke in this raspy, scratchy voice. We warned you. So many times we warned you not to come back here. You refused to listen, and now you'll regret it. You'll regret it forever. That's when the thing lurched towards me and let out this unholy scream that I swear nearly blasted my eardrums. I didn't stick around to see what else would happen. I turned and ran for the exit as fast as my legs could carry me, not stopping until I'd crashed through the gate and was blocks away. I'm holed up at home now, every light on, door locked. But I still hear those whispers in my mind, taunting me, daring me to go back. Part of me wants to, just so I can figure out what the hell is happening. But a bigger part knows that if I ever go back to that asylum, I'll wind up just like that thing. Whatever's behind those whispering walls, it's nothing mortal, and it seems dead set on punishing me for interfering where I don't belong. I'll leave it alone from now on. If any of you reading this are also tempted to go explore that place, though, let this be a warning. Stay far, far away. Those whispers are more than just spooky sounds. They're a doorway into something much darker and more evil. Something that won't rest until you've paid the price for disturbing it. Here's part 4, the ending to the Whispering Wall scary story. I should have listened to my own warning about staying away from that asylum. But those whispers, they burrow into your mind like termites until you can't think about anything else. Until the temptation to go back and face them becomes overpowering. It was a little over a week after my last visit. A week of living in fear, startling at every creak and thump in the night. Wondering if I was hearing things, or if it was the whispers returning for me. The lack of sleep was driving me crazy, dark circles under my eyes from the persistent nightmares. That's when the whispers came back, clear as day while I was sitting alone watching TV. Just faint at first, but growing louder, angrier. Saying my name over and over until I was covering my ears and screaming for it to stop. That's how Jake found me sometime later, cowering on the floor, rocking back and forth, begging the voices to go away. When I told him what was happening, he made the sign of the cross and started rambling about getting a priest or something. But we both knew there was only one way to make the whispers stop for good. I had to go back. So here I am, walking up to the gates of the asylum one last time. Alone, since I wouldn't let Jake come with me no matter how much he insisted. A stray dog started barking at me as I approached, like it could sense the wrongness surrounding this place. I took a deep breath and climbed over the gate, dropping down into the asylum grounds. My hands were shaking so hard I could barely get the flashlight turned on. The whispering was already there, surrounding me from all sides. Somehow I knew it was futile to try running or hiding. There was no escape from this evil, not anymore. I was brought here for a final confrontation. With leaden footsteps, I walked through the busted entrance and made my way to the hallway. The writing on the walls seemed to bleed freshly, contracting and pulsing in sickening motions. You're finally here. Now you'll never leave. By the time I reached the end of the hall, I was drenched in sweat, nearly paralyzed with fear. The whispering was a deafening roar, feeling like shards of glass piercing my mind over and over. There it was, the same twisted, decaying creature from before, unmoving except for its perpetual grin, like it had been waiting an eternity for me to wander in. I opened my mouth, but no words would come out. The thing started moving towards me, the whispers intensifying into a storm of cacophonic sound. I dropped my flashlight and fell to my knees, holding my hands over my ears as agony ripped through my head. The last thing I remember was the creature's face looming over me, dull eyes hollow pits into nothingness. I screamed as those twisted jaws clamped down towards me and everything went black. I don't know what happened after that, whether I survived the encounter or not. Maybe this is all a delirious final vision as I lay trapped forever in the asylum's clutches. Either way, I have this final warning for anyone who's contemplating going near that place. If you hear the whispering, if those voices start calling your name, run. Run as far and as fast as you can and never look back. Because once you're ensnared by the evil lurking behind the whispering walls, your soul belongs to the darkness there, and you're lost forever.